This is Greg with Realty Resource Radio. I'm here with my wife Lori. We're realtors in the Central Ohio area for over 20 years, bringing you the best in business on Realty Resource Radio.
Hello, everybody.
So what have you seen going in the real estate market this past week?
Well, let's see. A beautiful home backing to a pond. Sounds serene, right? But is it really? How about I had my kids' room custom hand painted in a Cinderella theme?
Ooh, nice.
Oh, maybe. It's worth a fortune, though, however. That's one of the things I wanted to talk about today, was just the misconceptions that people have valuing something that maybe really in reality isn't of value to everyone. That's been something I've run across a lot, and I thought it was worth talking about.
Well, that's because we see people selling their home, and they think it's worth just so much. Surely that mural that I hand painted on the wall makes my house worth $10,000 more.
Well, I recently had a client who put a door, an exterior metal door, on his bedroom door because he thought that was really a selling point, because he called it a safe door, because no one could kick through the door and get in the room, but it was a steel door entering into your bedroom. So of course anyone that came and saw the house was like, "What's up with the door?" So that was one thing.
So it adds value to some people, but maybe not to others.
Exactly, and so what one may view as valuable may not really be valuable. The other thing I've had a lot is, well, our house backs to a pond, and it's overlooking the water. Well, not everybody wants to have a pond lot. If they have little kids, they're scared, especially if they can't put fences in. There's things like backing to the woods. We back to the woods, and I always thought that was a huge incentive till I've had some people come over and they're scared when they're sitting out on our patio with us, thinking, what's in those woods? What's going to come out of there? And I'd be afraid. And don't you leave the lights on all night like a few of our neighbors do?
And what about all the leaf raking you have to do now?
Right, and the leaf raking, yeah, it can be a nuisance. Or a pool. So I grew up with a pool. I loved a pool, but they're hard to sell. Not everybody wants a pool. So they're just for people to be sensitive to the fact. Another one I hear a lot, and I have to think about this ourselves, like we've put in a stone patio, the big, beautiful flagstone patio. I think we spent like $8,000 on it. Well, for us, that's been our outdoor room, and there's an emotional attachment to that. And when we go to sell, everybody should love that outdoor room as much as we do.
It adds value to the house for sure.
But it doesn't necessarily add $10,000 worth of value like we originally paid, or whatever the original cost was. There's depreciation on it. We've used it. So it's, that's the value of it. I see that all the time with people when I list their houses say, well, I spent, those appliances are brand new 5 years ago, and I, spent $10,000 finishing my basement. And what about this, nice safe door that I put on that cost me $250? Well, the reality is that it's not. Other people, maybe someone would rather we have a deck. Maybe they'd rather we don't have a patio. Or those appliances are 5 years old now. It's kind of like a car. You drove it, it depreciated. So you can't say I'm going to ask an extra $10,000 for my house now because I put $10,000 worth of appliances in there. Or maybe it was something that was needed that should have been there. That perhaps needed to be there, and it was an improvement that had to be made, and had that improvement not been made, then definitely the house wouldn't have sold.
Well, it's a kid's room. Shouldn't it have alphabets painted on the wall?
Oh, that was the other client I had. That's right. I had another client who put, it was a cool concept, but it was a almost $400,000 home, and had it was a very open 2-story floor plan from a great room, had the whole entire hall wall painted in, was it magnetic paint, and had the ABCs for her kids to play with because she homeschooled all over that wall. And when I tried to explain that, you probably need to take that down. You can leave the magnetic paint, or at least stage it, a little bit better. Don't have the whole wall
covered.
Yeah, for 5 rooms covered. It was very insulting to her because, she just couldn't understand why everybody wouldn't want that. She thought for sure another homeschooling person would be attracted to it, which is the case. However,
and not everybody's homeschooling.
Right. You're fishing there. So I guess those were just something that I want people to think about. And so what I would like to offer to everyone is to go to our website, realtyresourceradio.com, and I'm going to give a free staging book out there that you can download in PDF. It'll be in a PDF format. It's a beautiful home staging book that is really, really helpful for people to kind of know what are the good things to do, what to take away. And of course, you can always call me And I'm happy to assist you in that as well.
I think what happens a lot of time is that folks will start to invest money in their house as well.
Oh, yeah.
And
sometimes they don't need to.
To fix it up to sell, and they're putting it in the wrong spot.
Right. I love to come out and do pre-evaluations with people and kind of spot them. They're always surprised. They're like, really? It's more important for me to declutter my basement than to paint that room? I'm like, yeah. That room really isn't that bad in its paint. Now, and sometimes, or maybe you need to focus more on taking down all the wallpaper in the dining room.
But that wallpaper's from the 70s. You can't just get that anywhere anymore. I like the gold and orange and black.
You must be talking about the home I grew up in. Just kidding. Can you tell I was Italian?
You better take that down if you ever sell it. And what's with the shag carpeting in the basement?
Right, that would be a dad thing. Anyway, yes, you're absolutely right, and that's where a realtor is invaluable in coming out and and just being able to spot you on what really needs to be done. Sometimes people invest money they really don't need to in these things.
To sell the house, or they can even make it worse.
Yeah,
I just spent all this money and I made it worse.
I've seen that too. You're like, why did you not consult with somebody first as a pro at this, and why did you put in that purple carpet?
Well, yeah, talk to folks that do it every day working with buyers.
Right. So that
what's going to make this house more attractive. So and besides, and the declutter thing I really like, because people are moving. Mm-hmm. So it's like, pack your stuff up. You're moving. So you don't need to have this stuff sitting around cluttering up the house. And
you and I were actually talking about recently a situation where I have someone that I'm very close to that's trying to sell their house, and they bottom line is that when you walk in that room, when you walk in a certain room, the kitchen basically, the refrigerator is the first thing you see, and it's an odd spot. You have to walk all the way across the kitchen to get to the refrigerator. They have a center island in the kitchen that actually can be moved, and I asked, well, is it the same flooring underneath that center island, or would somebody have to repair that, or is that why you wouldn't want to move that island and move it over a little to bring the refrigerator over to the kitchen so it has a good flow plan?
Yeah.
Well, it needs to have a good flow. I mean, you don't want to walk over the island and around the corner to get to the refrigerator.
It's uncomfortable.
And there was a reason. I mean, that's one of the key reasons I feel that the house is not selling. And this person did not want to invest. They didn't want to do that. They were worried about scratching their floors, and I'm like, well, I think that would be a worthy thing to do.
Be careful moving it.
Right, and so
make it more attractive for buyers.
Or our remodeler who was on Cedar Chapel with Ventura Remodeling mentioned the idea on our first show about sometimes it is okay to invest a little bit of money to make money. I mean, sometimes you have to spend a little, like this particular house I'm talking about with the kitchen really needs a carport or a garage, and they're afraid to spend the money on that, but they'll get it back.
Right, because the rest of the neighborhood has that type of feature.
So, so tell me, I know that there's been a lot of stink going on about Powell, Ohio right now. What's happening?
Well, there's a charter amendment up for a vote, and I find it interesting that people would actually like this thing. I hope they vote no, but the way it works is 5 homeowners associations would be able to make decisions about building and development plans for the city. Mm-hmm. And it's not really just the association, it's those 5 people that run the homeowners association. And myself, I'm wondering, well, really,
are they close to this development? Are those homeowners associations close to?
One of them is not even in Powell.
Oh my gosh.
But the thing that I find is interesting is there's people that do this for a living.
Professionals?
Yeah, city development and planning, how to make the city more attractive. And so to think that the homeowners association, just someone who runs the homeowners association, could make decisions about how to run a city is kind of wild. Now if this would actually pass, which I mean maybe it will, you never know. I mean, imagine the city of Columbus being run by 5 homeowners association leaders.
That would be hard.
I'm just happy when my homeowners association leader gets the flowers looking nice out front. I can't imagine them running an entire city. Mm-hmm. And so I mean. Powell's not the largest city, but this has ramifications for other cities as well. And then the people that are there that already own property, it would be like they have a right to say what you can or can't do with your property as well, which I think is
it legal for?
Well, what's interesting,
because I mean I thought there were certain legislations and everything that protect people from.
The Ohio Supreme Court already sort of stated how they feel about it, and they said that it was unconstitutional, the amendment. So what it really boils down to is that they came back and they said, well, we kind of said it was it's unconstitutional a little too early, because really we can't rule on anything until it's already become like voted on and passed.
Oh, so wasting a lot of taxpayer dollars, it sounds like.
Well, that's exactly what it would be. It would be a big win for lawyer pocketbooks and a big loss of money for the city of Powell.
So it comes off like, oh, we don't want this whatever built there that they're worrying about, but in reality, it's going to cost a ton of money to them in the long haul.
And then
maybe hurt other counties or other, what's the word I'm looking for, villages or whatever, like Orange County or whatever, Orange Township.
Well, yeah, then everybody else would have to fight it as well. But I think it would ultimately just, since they've already said it's unconstitutional, it's just a matter of if this thing were to pass, then it would get turned down by the Ohio Supreme Court eventually and just cost a lot of money fighting it. Money that could go to better things for the city of Powell, the parks, improvement, just in property around the city.
That's sad. So
I hope it does. I hope people vote no on this one.
Me too.
The Delaware County Board of Elections actually called, in one of their statements, said the title and text of the petition are misleading. So I'm like, really? Huh. So I'm going to trust the people to put this together when the title and text are misleading. I'm already kind of weary. It's almost like a commercial that you hear on
Well, and
TV.
I think there's a lot of support from the BIA and everybody else too.
To vote no.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what do we have coming up next, babe?
Well, we're going to be talking about reverse mortgages. There are some myths out there about reverse mortgages that we want to clear up. and so we're going to be bringing on our expert on reverse mortgages from Andy Mack. He's a great guy. You're going to want to stay and listen. You're listening to Realty Resource Radio. Be sure to visit us on the internet at realtyresourceradio.com.